Hi! Hello everybody, and in case you're new to my channel, or in case you're stumbling upon me for the first time, my name is Brett. Today I am going to be giving my sort of coming out story. Sit back, relax, and let's cry together. So, this sort of story, I've broken into like 4 eras of my life. It'll go middle school, high school, college, and then right now. So let's start with middle school. Now, middle school is when the whole sexuality confusion really started because everyone around me was dating. It was just really confusing because I didn't understand what they were feeling to want to date somebody. I felt like I didn't have the normal feelings I should be having. That was when I started to realize that I was a little bit different than everybody else because I was confused because I thought some of my guy friends were cute, but I was really confused by the fact that I thought they were cute. I didn't really understand what that meant because you don't really hear a guy friend saying, "Oh, you're really cute today." You just don't hear that. At least not when I was in middle school. I don't know what middle school is like now. That wasn't the case for me. So I just felt really out of place, and like I felt that I did have crushes on like girls my age. So I just kept telling myself, "Oh no, you can't possibly be gay. You can't possibly be like that because you've had crushes on girls before, and that's not how it works." So I just had to keep constantly reassuring myself that, "Oh no, you had this one crush before this one time, so you can't possibly be gay. Don't worry, you're in the clear." But having to reassure yourself every day, it can take its toll on you, and I developed really high anxiety, and I just had to keep ignoring the fact that I was having these feelings, and I didn't know how to deal with it. And I remember the first time somebody asked me, "Brett, are you gay?" I think it was 8th grade. It was at recess, and one of my friends asked me, and I froze. I had never been asked that question before up until then. So she asked me, and I didn't know what to say. I'm just like, "No, of course not. Why would you ask that?" I believe she told me something along the lines of, "Oh, everybody thinks that," or something like that, and it just made me feel terrible. I don't think I've ever felt worse than when she asked me that question. And I just was so nervous, and it made my anxiety and my nervousness even worse. That was pretty much my middle school experience. Just a lot of anxiety, ignoring feelings, reassuring myself that, "Oh, you can't possibly be gay if you had this crush before," and dealing with the first time getting asked if I was gay or not. Now, that leads into the next era, which I call the high school era, also known as the locker room era. Yeah. So coming from middle school to high school, I realized that I had to hide even more than I was hiding in middle school because I didn't want to draw attention to myself. I didn't want people asking me that question ever again. So I did whatever I possibly could to just blend in, hide in the shadows, and not make myself known or give anybody a reason to ask me that question ever again. You know, I stifled my reactions to things. It stopped me from going out for things, clubs, activities, and all that sort of stuff because I didn't want people associating me with that question ever again. I was that fearful of it. And it was around this time that I remember I was in the shower. For me, I like to sit down in the shower. I like to relax and let the water hit me. That's when I can really just like think about things and like be by myself. I was crying in the shower, or I was just really, really distraught. That was the first time where I thought about killing myself because I was gay. And it's really weird to think about it because when I said that to myself, I'm just like, that's it. That's the only way out. I don't want to live this way. I don't want to be gay. It's really weird to think that I thought that. Very strange feeling. I'm in high school now, and I'm hiding who I am even more. And this was the era when people started to ask me, "Brett, how come you have so many female friends, but you don't have a girlfriend?" And I would get asked that by my mom. I would get asked that by some of my friends actually too. And I just hated that question. I just thought it was so rude for people to ask me that. I know they didn't mean to be that way, but it really just made me feel even worse. It made me want to hide even more, because getting asked that question, the next question is, Brett, are you gay? And that's something that I could not deal with. And that led to a lot of anger, and when people started to get too close with asking questions with me, I would get really angry and upset, and I would try to change it, and I would get all flustered, and my nervousness level would just skyrocket. It was just terrible. From middle school on, I wasn't happy at all. I don't think there was a day that passed where I wasn't upset, sad, distraught. But also in this time, going into a slightly more positive view was the locker room. No, I found myself rushing to the locker room for gym. I didn't really allow myself to think too hard about why, because I knew that if I did, I would just get really sad and depressed about it. So I suppressed it, but at the same time, I embraced it at the same time. So I would rush to the locker room and, oh hey, guys are changing. This is fantastic. So in the midst of all the sadness, there were moments where I ignorantly embraced it, if that makes sense. So I'm still lying to myself, but at the same time, I'm getting it out of my system. I don't know. It was a really confusing time. I remember senior year, I got asked the question again, Brett, are you gay? And someone asked me that right in class. Right in class. And other people I know could hear. Not that everyone was paying attention, but there are people around us. And I'm just like, no, why? She's like, well, you never had a girlfriend. You don't really seem to be interested in it. And I didn't know how to respond again. I just ignored it. I was very angry. I was so upset that she asked me this question. I just didn't want to deal with it, and I thought it was very rude, and it got me very upset. My defense level went up even more after that. And now we enter the college era. Now, the summer before college, I came out to someone for the very first time. I remember it vividly, and so does she. You know who she is. She is Ashley, the girl that I went to Butt Slap Mountain with. If you haven't seen Butt Slap Mountain, it's a really nice video of us hiking together on a mountain, and that's the girl that I came out to for the first time. And I remember it was like 3 in the morning. It was very late, and I was texting her, and all of a sudden I just had this rush of, I need to tell you something. I don't know why I want to tell you this right now, but I have to tell you something. And I told her that I was just really confused. I didn't know how to deal with it. You know, I couldn't tell if I liked girls or guys. It was just really the first time I opened up about it. So Ashley, if you're watching, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for being really supportive and talking to me, especially at 3 in the morning, about how I'm sexually confused. So I just wanted to thank you if you're watching. And when you come out for the first time, you know, it's kind of like a rush. You don't know what to feel. So I told her, and that was the first time I told anybody. But because I came out to her, that sort of had a trickle effect on me when I went to college. It was my first semester, and I told like a few more people. And then I found myself bringing the subject of sexuality up like whenever I could, just so I could come out. So it was like the direct opposite of my entire life. I would always avoid the question, Brett, are you gay? But for some reason, I was embracing the question, and I was hoping that people would ask, so I didn't have to say it myself, but I can also come out to them at the same time. And it was really strange doing that 180 flip like that. And it was really weird to hang out with people, but have no secrets with them. That was really weird. Because in high school and middle school, whenever I would hang out with people, I would always, take it down a notch. I wouldn't be overly excited about things, and I would just be really cautious about every single word I said, every gesture, every hand movement, everything. And it was weird not analyzing every move I made. It was just really, really strange and really great at the same time. Now that moves into the summer before sophomore year. year of college, my mom asked me, I was on the couch, I was in the living room, I'll never forget this, and my dad was on the other couch, and I'm just sitting there watching TV, and I think something about like relationships came on a commercial or something, and my mom asked me again, it's like, how come you're not the one to have a girlfriend? It's like, and she was like, it's not fair. And then she asked me, do you like girls? And whenever she would ask me that, I would always freeze up, I would get all flushed, and I would just be really nervous and, ignore it and be like, of course, blah, blah, blah. But she asked me, and for some reason, I just said no. I told her no. And then she asked me, do you like boys? That's when I started crying, and I just nodded yes. That's when I came out to my parents. I was 18, yeah. Personally, I didn't really appreciate her asking me. Coming out is something that you need to do yourself and not have it be forced out from anybody else, because if you're not ready, then it can be really damaging to you. So I really didn't appreciate her asking me that, but at the same time I was really glad to have it over with. So it worked out, and they were totally fine with it. I never had any issues with my family, and I feel really lucky to have such a really accepting family. That's how I came out to my parents, and since then, I was more out in the open now. I was not afraid to tell people. I wasn't afraid to have that trickle-down effect even more, just like shout to the rooftops that, like, you know what, I'm a little sexually confused. Even though I was like out and everything, I still felt really nervous and anxious about the whole thing because I was confused. I didn't know what I was feeling, and I didn't know how to analyze it. I would see a guy and be like, oh, he's attractive, and I'd be like, oh, okay, confirmed, I'm gay. But then I would see like a girl and I would be like confused about how I felt, and I would be like, wait, if I just liked him, how can I feel this way? I was confused, and that lasted for years. It was torture. It was torment being so confused about who you were, because other people were just like, oh yeah, I'm gay, and just be totally 100% about it. I'm just like, how can you be so sure about yourself? And it was just really frustrating. And I remember like the first time I said I was gay out loud to myself, and it didn't feel the way people told me it was supposed to feel, and I felt a lot of pressure for not feeling the same way as other people, because people were like, oh, don't you feel better now that you said it out loud? And I was just like, no, not really. And they were confused by me being confused still, and that didn't help the situation at all. And it wasn't until I took a few like gender and sexuality courses at the latter end of my college career that I really understood that whole spectrum thing, the Kinsey scale, just how everybody's different and what you feel is valid no matter what, and you can identify as anything that you want. It wasn't until I learned all of these things that I was just like, oh, it was totally 100% okay that I didn't feel the same way as other people when they said that they were gay to themselves. It was totally 100% okay to be unsure about it. It was totally 100% okay to feel how I felt. It felt really good to be told that and learn about it and learn about all these different types of sexualities and this whole spectrum thing and just the fluidity of it all. It was just really comforting. Also in the college time, I was opening up to the idea about dating guys. I had a few failed attempts, they're lost, but before junior year, so that summer, wow, I'm just realizing that the summer before college I came out, the summer before sophomore year, the next summer I came out to my parents, and the next summer I got my first relationship. And I'll never forget just that feeling I got when I was with him for the first time. It wasn't like in a sexual way, it was just like being close, cuddling, just the simple thing of holding each other's hands. It was incredible. It was indescribable. It was the first time I didn't feel confused. And I remember being in the moment and just being so incredibly happy. And I'm the type of person that even though I'm happy, I still try to find ways to make myself miserable because anxiety is so fun. But no matter how hard I tried to find something to be confused about, I couldn't. That was the first time where I wasn't confused. I was genuinely not confused about who I was, and it was fantastic. Sadly, that relationship didn't end too well, but I'm very grateful that I got to have that experience, and it really did help me out a lot. Yeah, it was just It was just really good to feel that way for the first time in forever. For the first time in forever. No, I won't do that to you. As college went on, I found it just became easier to talk about my sexuality with other people, and it became less of a big deal. It was less of a big deal to me, like, cause I didn't care anymore. I just honestly didn't care. You can ask me, I'll say, yeah, I'm gay. Like, it didn't matter to me, which leads me into the current era. Right now, present day, hi. Wearing my gay in Japanese shirt. Big strides. Being gay went from a confused thought in middle school, a hidden secret in high school, a national broadcast in college, and just a normal part of me right now. And it's been quite a wild ride. It's just really fascinating how something that consumed my whole life, my every single thought, to now where it doesn't affect me at all. Yes, it's part of who I am, but it's not a game changer for anything. It's just me, you know? And I've had so much support in my life, and I realized that I am one of the lucky ones where I did have a lot of support. My family accepted me, my friends accepted me, but I know that's not the case for so many other people, and I wish it were different. It shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's who you are. No one should make you feel ashamed because of who you are. You can't change it. It's ridiculous how people can't accept it or get around it. It doesn't make any sense. So I hope that this coming out adventure, this story, can help give a little hope to people out there who don't have as much support. I hope that it can give you a little ease that I understand the torture. I understand the torment. I understand the sadness. You're gonna be okay. You're going to be okay. Your sexuality, confusion, if you're going through that, it may be all that you think about, and you yourself may be crying in your shower, just waiting for the day to end it all. I've been there. I know how that feels. I was crying in my shower. I was wanting to end my life in the future because of who I am. But I hope I can give you a little bit of relief that it's going to be fine. If you are one of those people who are struggling right now, I don't want you to be too fearful of the future. You are totally valid in feeling your fears right now. You are 100% allowed to feel how you feel. So I'm not going to tell you to not be afraid, because you're going to be afraid anyway. But I hope that you can see that I made it. I'm here. I won. I'm here. I'm alive. And I hope that you can see the positivity that can come out of all this negative sadness and confusion. So I just want to tell you that you're going to be fine. You may not believe it right now, but you're going to be okay. You're strong. You're very strong. You're stronger than you think. And I love you. And love always wins. Thank you for listening. I love you.